Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Power on. Board functioning at 100%. Microphone detected. Storage accessible and ready to receive content. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Spectrum Blocks.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Spectrum Talks. Today in the studio we have Mr. Matt V. and we have John D. as guests.
Mr. Matt D.
Yeah, is that Big John talking right there?
Yeah, Mr. Matt D.
No, you're Big John.
I'm Big John.
Yep, and then we got Matt V in the house, don't we?
Yeah.
Cool. So, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about stuff?
Yeah.
And what do you want to talk about, John?
When I come here on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm kind of, I had my anxieties about learning stuff with Matt and Tyler.
Yeah, so you come to Onto Avenue, and that's a place where you can learn things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we got Matt and Tyler kind of help work with you, right?
Right.
And what have you been learning lately?
Well, I've been learning how to color and all that, and learn how to create thinking, and then after that, do my biography.
Yeah, so Matt's working with you, and you kind of dictating stuff to him about your history, and how you had autism as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, you still have autism, but you were autistic, and then people weren't nice to you, right?
Right.
And some people were, some people weren't, and you're just kind of explaining your journey, right?
Yeah.
How's that gone? Have you really enjoyed remembering things?
Yeah. Well.
Oh, there you go. Farting in the studio already, man.
Called it.
Yeah, called it, man. We're going to have a hard time breathing here in a minute.
So, hey, John, you told me very early on about what it was like to get diagnosed with autism and that people didn't know what autism was.
Oh, yeah. People didn't know what autism was. I thought it was okay like everybody else, but later I found out I wasn't okay. Mm-hmm. I thought I'd get a driver's license when I was 16 and all that. Mm-hmm. I used to flip and all that.
What do you mean by flip? Did you get mad?
No, I used to get strings and do this.
Okay, so you put like hold strings between your fingers and kind of just flip them? And that was kind of help get your anxieties out?
Yeah.
So you told me, too, when you were younger, that they didn't know what autism was.
Yeah, they didn't know autism was.
Because you're a little bit older, right? Our audience, most of everybody here at On the Avenue is mid-30s, and you're like 50. Old guy like me, I'm in my mid-50s, so...
Yeah. Well...
it's true. Back in the day, they didn't know what it was, right?
Well, even though there was autism as old as I am, but I was like the first one that I was about the only one they worked with.
Yeah, so we talked to your mother for an interview for something else, but she explained that you came from a smaller county, and I think if I remember correctly, your dad was a policeman or something like that.
No, my dad worked at prison, and
okay, but anyways,
my dad never dealt with it, and
But anyways, you knew everybody in the county, so you were kind of one of the first people diagnosed with autism in the county.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of gave you big hugs and took you in as theirs. Yeah. So that was back in the day.
Nobody really knew what the problem was.
So you were just a little bit different to them, and nobody could really understand why.
Yeah. Well, I was in different schools and all of that.
Okay.
Because back then they had no control over it.
So was school hard for you?
Well, yeah, I was in special ed.
Okay.
I was at North. I was in the middle hospital because I was kind of hard to handle and all that.
Okay, so they didn't want to work with you, which made it hard to handle, right?
Yeah.
John, you told me something really interesting one time. You said that in the beginning, people didn't know the difference between autism and other things.
Yeah. Retard. They thought I had a different problem. They thought I had retard. Some of them thought I had retardation, but They there's but the autism never came up.
True. We're working on a documentary here, and I've learned that back in the day, they would just lump it all in with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
They'd lump it in with mental retardation.
Yeah.
And they would treat everybody the same while everybody was being totally different.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good way to help anyone because they weren't treating, or working properly with the diagnosis.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you? Was it hard to express yourself to them?
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I just get really upset and tear stuff up and all that.
Okay, so you're a little bit of the Hulk. Huh?
Yeah.
You said that was like what, around like 13 or 14?
No, it was about 13 or 14.
That's what we should do. Take a picture of you and make it green like the Hulk. That would be
Yeah.
fun. That's your superhero.
Yeah.
I love it. You're a gentle giant, though.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So what were you saying, Matt? You had some more insight on it?
Yeah, you said that when you were 13 or 14, when we were doing your biography, right? You said when you were 13 or 14, you started acting out and you were having a hard time.
Yeah. Well, I was out for trial and all of that. My brother's always been conservative, and Jody, he kind of jumped on my case every time I did something. And he at first he cared, but now he got on drugs and now he doesn't really care anymore.
Okay. So was it good having a brother around to help you some, or was it to get somebody to help fight for you?
Well, because Jody, he sort of.
So you had, when you were 13 or 14, you told me that you were realizing that things were a little different for you. And so do you think that having those problems back then and not being able to fit in and now getting along with everybody, was that hard to learn how to do?
Yeah, some people thought I was normal and all that, but I wasn't.
No, you're normal.
No, because they never dealt with a case with autism. Sometimes with autism, you're furloughed. You can't function up here. You get somebody smart to help you out and all that. When I was younger, I couldn't tie my shoes or nothing like that. They had to tie my shoes for me, get me dressed and all that.
Yeah, for those who are listening and don't know much about autism, it's just kind of a learning disability.
Yeah.
So some things are harder for some people and some things are easier for people. Yeah. So in your case, it was hard. Did you ever learn to tie your shoe?
Well, later was that.
Okay, so see, you learned it. It just took you a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
So, and in the early days, you needed people to help you, right?
Yeah, like my mother and my dad.
Yeah, and I think that, we all had somebody help us tie our shoe till we got it, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not a big deal. So, you've been coming on the Avenue, which is a place where we work with everybody under the sun, and we all share and we all express our knowledges and share our knowledges with one another. And
seems like there's more coming without autism. A lot like hell out there, like Rita.
Yeah, so we have people that come and help, and and they, you've been amazing. I had to fight you to come over and sit next to a computer about a year ago, right? Yeah. Well, tell me about that story. How'd that go?
Well, I was coming here to work, and John Waters said we had meadows coming. I want to be doing gloves and all that, and then had to apologize there. Said, I'm sorry I froze when you see. And he says, all right, not.
Yeah, so we had a little area where they were packing boxes for a client, putting stuff in the boxes, and you were doing that. And then I really wanted you to come over and hang out with us in the classroom area.
No, Dieter, you were pretty severe. Said, John, why don't you sit down here?
I know. You and I kind of got into it because you wanted to pack and you did not want to stop packing those boxes, and I wanted you to come over and
Then that Monday when I came in again, you wanted me to sit over there, and John Waters said, "Yes, you have to come over with Dieter today and all that."
And I'm glad you did, so then we didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So what did I ask you to do?
Sit down.
No, but I'm saying, did you sit in front of a computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what did we do with the computer?
Yeah, top stuff.
Yeah, well, you started typing the alphabet,
Yeah.
right? Because you knew your alphabet. And then I grabbed a paragraph and you started transcribing the paragraph, right?
Right.
And you were slow at first, and then you got better and faster and faster. And then we had you help transcribe some other things that we were writing. So you're a typing whiz, right?
Yeah.
And what did Matt Volman help you with?
Well, at first he was with my biography and with my color and all that. The entire my creative thinking.
Yeah, so we were talking about how to creatively think and do things in shapes and colors.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And so I saw you today. You were tracing over a dinosaur and adding your own colors, and you drew some buildings behind the dinosaur, and you gave the dinosaur a colorful sock, didn't you? That was pretty cool.
Then I think he came like a year ago. We were over doing meadows, and me and John Aldridge, I think it's Dustin and Carson were sitting over doing meadows. I kind of met him, so I asked him questions and all that. And
yeah, so Matt Volman was working and hanging out with you guys, and that's how you got to meet him. And he's an awesome guy. He's an awesome photographer, awesome teacher, and he's sitting in the studio here with us, and he's mad at us for bringing all this up. I can just tell.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, this has been a good session. I just want to keep them quick. So we learned a little bit more about you, John. Keep up the good work. We're proud of you. And what's your favorite saying around here that we love to hear you say?
Big ass tacos.
Well, that's the other one. Big ass tacos, but then the one that you came up with.
What was it?
Y'all ain't ready for my creativity.
Yo, great for my creativity.
Y'all ain't ready?
Ready for my creativity.
There you go. And with that, we'll just say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.